everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make these really cute Christmas inspired crochet decorations to hang on your tree. So you've got a scarf, a boot and earmuffs. I hope you all enjoyed this video and let's get into it. Okay, so for this project I'm going to be using 4 different colours of yarn. These are all double knit except for this one, which is slightly thicker. It's like a fluffy yarn. I've got light brown, baby pink, this cream colour which is kind of showing up yellow on camera but it's definitely a cream, and then this cream fluffy yarn. And I'm going to be using 2 different size hooks just purely because I'm going to be using the fluffy yarn, so I'm going to need a bigger hook for that. So I've got a 3mm hook and then a 4mm hook, and then you're also going to be needing some scissors. So I'm going to be starting off with the scarf. So I'm going to be taking my cream yarn for this, and I'm just going to start off with a slip knot like that. And I'm going to make a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 like that. And then for the first row I'm just going to be working single crochets into the back bumps. So as you can see I've got my chain here with the V's, and when you flip the chain over you should see these kind of bumps poking out behind each chain. So you want to find your second chain from the hook and then flip that chain over and then insert your hook into that back bump. And you just want to make your single crochet as normal. So as a recap, I'm going to yarn over and pull through that back bump loop. So you should have 2 loops on the hook, and then to finish the stitch you want to yarn over again and pull through both of those loops. And then you want to repeat that into each back bump across until you have 5 stitches in the row. So now I'm going to go into my next back bump, inserting my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through that first loop, and then yarn over and pull through both loops to finish the stitch. So now I'm just going to do that 3 more times till I get to the end of the row. Once you have reached the end of the row, we are then going to just turn the work and start our second row. So you don't need to chain 1. You can just turn the work, and I'm going to loop in my end so that I can just weave it in so I don't have to weave it in later. So to do that I'm just going to tuck the strand of yarn over the hook and just hold it there with my finger, and then I'm just going to complete my single crochets as normal. So I'm just going to do 5 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. So I'm just going to find that first one, which is kind of being blocked by the strand, but as you can see there, it's right there. And then just make your single crochet as normal into that first stitch, and as you can see just holding that yarn there tucks it in, and I'm going to repeat that into each stitch across, so just another 4 single crochets. So that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and then last one, that's 5. Okay, so you should have something like this, and once your end is weaved in you can just cut that small strand. And then I'm just going to be turning the work again for row 3 and repeating the exact same thing, 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way across, and I'm going to be doing in total 52 rows of single crochet. So I've just completed my second row, so then I will do my third row of just single crochets, and then I will turn the work for row 4 and complete that again, 1 single crochet into each stitch, and I'm going to do that until I have 52 rows in total. So I will come back once I've done my 52 rows and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I've just done my 52 rows, so this is what it should look like, and now you just want to chain 1 and fasten off, and then you want to grab your pink colour and make a slip knot, and we're just going to do a single crochet border around the edge. So you can start at any point, but I'm just going to start right where on the row that I finished, so I'm just going into that first stitch. I'm just going to insert my hook and pull my slip knot through that stitch, then just chain 1 to attach it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do single crochets, and then at each corner I'm going to do a single crochet and a chain one, and this is just going to keep the scarf nice and square. So I'm going to basically just do my first single crochet in that exact same stitch like that, and then I'm just going to single crochet all the way across to the other side or the other corner. That. And then once I reach the corner, I'm just going to make a chain one, and then I'm going to just start single crocheting down the edge. So it doesn't need to be exact, and you don't need to count your stitches, just roughly find the next sort of space and make your single crochet. I'm just going to continue that all the way down the edge, and then when I get to the next corner I'm just going to do another chain one. Okay, so now I've got to the other corner, I'm just going to do my single crochet in that corner stitch, and then I'm just going to chain one, and then I'm just going to continue my single crochets across to the other corner. And then once I got to the other corner stitch, I'm just going to chain one again. So it's kind of like at each corner you just want to do your single crochet but then chain one afterwards, and then continue on with your single crochets. Again, this just helps it be nice and square. So now I'm just going to continue single crocheting up to the other side, and once I reach my final sort of single crochet right here, I will chain one, and then I'm just going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made. Okay, so now I've just done my final single crochet in that stitch, and now I'm just going to chain one to kind of complete that corner part, and then I'm going to slip stitch where that first single crochet is that we made. So I'm going to insert my hook into that stitch and yarn over and pull through, and then I'm just going to pull my first loop through the second, like that, and then you just want to chain one and fasten off, like that, and then you should have this kind of long strip like this, and then you just want to take your fluffy yarn and you want to grab your bigger hook for this, because obviously it's a bit of a thicker yarn and it might be a bit more difficult to do your stitches with your smaller hook, and you just want to make your slip knot with the fluffy yarn. And don't worry too much if you're worried about not being able to see the stitches when you crochet with fluffy yarn, because we are literally only going to be doing these 5 stitches across the edges and that's it, so it shouldn't be too complicated. So I'm just going to insert my hook where I slip stitched before, into that kind of corner bit, like that, and then I'm just going to pull my slip knot through from the fluffy yarn, and again chain one to attach it. So into that same stitch I'm just going to make a single crochet with my fluffy yarn, and I'm crocheting over the pink tail and the fluffy tail as well, so I don't have to do any weaving in, like that. And then I'm just going to do another 4 single crochets. So I'm going into my next stitch, making a single crochet, so that's 2, into the next one single crochet, that's 3, into the next stitch single crochet, it's 4, and then into the next stitch single crochet, that's 5. Okay, but then you just want to chain one and cut the yarn, and then I'm just going to repeat the exact same thing on this side over here. So you should have something like this with little fluffy edges, and you just want to then weave in these ends, and then I'm going to come back and show you how we fold the scarf to kind of create that look of the scarf. Okay, so this step is optional, but I think that it just makes the scarf look more like a scarf. So I'm basically just going to kind of sew and fold the scarf to kind of position it in the way that it would look if you was to like wrap it around you. So I'm just going to take some of my cream yarn and I'm just going to make a little knot at one end, and then I'm going to grab my sewing needle and just place it on the sewing needle like this, and then I'm just going to basically wrap the scarf like around my finger. So how I'm going to do that is I'm basically just going to insert like the finger underneath the scarf like this, and then you just want to wrap, it doesn't matter which way around, but wrap one side of the scarf around the finger like this, and then just kind of hold that there, kind of pinch it together, take it off your finger and then kind of just assemble it like that. But basically it should just kind of cross over, and you can pin the scarf whichever way you want. You can just hold the kind of cross section at the back like this, okay, and then you can kind of like pull out one of the sides of the scarf, and then with my sewing needle I'm just going to kind of sew on the inside part. It doesn't need to be like exact either, just pull that through and just go back and forth a little bit until everything is staying in place on its own. And then I'm basically just going to add for each of my decorations a chain that is going to obviously loop over the Christmas tree. So you can do this with any of your yarn. I'm just going to take the cream and make a slip knot, and then my 3mm hook, and I'm just going to grab kind of the back area of the scarf. So I'm just pushing my hook through any part of the back area like that, and then I'm going to pull my slip knot through like that, and then you just want to make a chain pretty much of any length you want, doesn't matter, you don't need to count it, just whatever feels good. Okay, so I've just done a chain of 25, and then I'm just going to slip stitch back into that exact same spot where I attached the yarn. So just make a slip stitch like that, and then you have your own little chain that is going to loop over any of the branches on your Christmas tree, and then just chain one and cut the yarn, and then you can just weave in your ends into the back of the work. But that is your scarf decoration all complete. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make the earmuffs. So I'm going to start off with my pink yarn, and I'm going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to start off with a chain of 4. I'm using my 3mm hook for the main part of the earmuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that 4th chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, make a slip stitch. And this is just going to create a ring that we can crochet into. And I'm going to start off with 6 single crochets into this ring. So I'm just crocheting into the ring and over the tail, making 6 single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, you just want to pull on that tail to draw the ring in a bit, and if it doesn't draw in straight away you can continue to crochet the tail into the next round, and hopefully by then you should be able to pull the tail and it should close. So to finish the first round I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet like that, and then for my next round I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to make 2 single crochets into each stitch all the way around. So I'm going into that same stitch again, looping that tail over, and I'm going to make 2 single crochets into this stitch like that, and I'm going to repeat that into each stitch all the way around. So by the end of the round I have 12 stitches. Okay, so to finish the round you just want to skip the slip stitch, the chain 1, and then you want to insert your hook into that first single crochet. This is just going to close everything together like that. And then for my next round I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to repeat the sequence of 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then 2 single crochets into the second stitch. So where I've made that slip stitch and chain 1, I'm just going to do 1 single crochet into that stitch, and then into the next stitch 2 single crochets, and then into the following stitch 1 single crochet, and into the next stitch 2 single crochets. So I'll just repeat that all the way around and I will have 18 stitches by the end of the round. Okay, once you've reached the end of the round you'll have that slip stitch and that chain 1, and you just want to slip stitch into that first single crochet. So again, skip the slip stitch and chain 1 and insert your hook where that first single crochet is to close the round. And now we're going to make our final round for the circle, so I'm going to chain 1 again, and at this time I'm going to do 1 single crochet into the first 2 stitches and then into the third stitch 2 single crochets. So I'm going to do my first single crochet into that slip stitch area, a single crochet into the next stitch, and then into the third stitch 2 single crochets. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around, so 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, so that's 1 and 1, and then into the next stitch 2 single crochets. So I'll repeat that, and by the end of the round I will have 24 stitches. Okay, so once you have reached your final stitch, once again you just want to close the round by skipping that slip stitch and chain 1 and going into that first single crochet like that. So you should have a nice circle, and now we are just going to chain 1 and fasten off. And you want to make a second circle in the exact same way, so I'm going to do that off camera, but you just want to repeat the steps one more time so that you have 2 circles. Okay, so now I've completed both of my circles. Now I'm going to be joining them together with single crochets using my fluffy yarn, and when we get to about halfway around I'm going to start stuffing it just with some scrap yarn. If you want to use a proper stuffing you can, and you don't have to stuff them at all, but I just think that just a slight amount of stuffing, even if it's just some thread, some scrap yarn, whatever, makes a whole lot of difference. It gives it that more realistic look. So you want to take your larger hook, so I'm using my 4mm hook and the fluffy yarn, make a slip knot, and you want to just line up the 2 circles so that the neat sides are on the outside, and you can start at any point on the ear muffs, and you don't need to line up the ends with each other or anything like that, and in fact I think it might be easier if you didn't, because then you can tuck each end in at separate points. So I'm going to just start over here and insert my hook into the first sort of stitch that I've got on my front part of the ear muff, and then I'm going to insert my hook into the stitch on the back of the ear muff. Then you just want to pull your slip knot through both of those stitches like that, and then just chain 1 to attach it. Okay, and now I'm just going to single crochet into the exact same spot, so going through that front circle stitch and then that back circle stitch, making a single crochet like that. And now I'm just going to make single crochets all the way around the circle, weaving in these ends as I go, and I'm going into my next stitch on the front part of the circle and my next stitch on the back part, and then just single crocheting through both of those stitches like that. Same again, inserting your hook into the next stitch on the front circle and your next stitch on the back circle, make your single crochet. And if you're right-handed, you'll be going in the opposite direction, but it's the exact same process. So I'm just working clockwise. If you're right-handed, you'll be working anti-clockwise. So now I'm just going to go all the way around, and when I get to about the halfway point, I'm going to just add a little bit of stuffing. I'm just stuffing a little bit with some scrap yarn. Okay, and then I'm just going to single crochet all the way around, and then when I get to that first single crochet, obviously it's a little bit difficult to see, but you can kind of pull apart the stitch, find that first single crochet, and you just want to make a slip stitch into that single crochet, and then chain one and fasten off. And then after that you want to just make a second one of the ear muffs, so it should look like this, and then I will come back and show you how we make the band that is going to connect them both together. So once you have completed both of the ear muffs, you then just want to grab your pink yarn and make a slip knot, and we're going to be making the headband section. So you just want to grab one of the ear muffs, and you can attach the yarn at any point because obviously it's just a circle. So I'm just going to find my stitch, the fluffy stitch section, and I'm going to pull my slip knot through and then chain one to attach it. Now obviously it is a little bit difficult to see the stitches on fluffy yarn, but we only have to crochet 4 stitches, so it does, and it also doesn't need to be that accurate, so don't worry too much if you can't really see the stitches and you're not sure if you've picked up the right one. So after your chain one, you just want to make a single crochet in that same stitch, and then into the next stitch a single crochet, and then into the next a single crochet, and then one more into the next stitch. So you should have 4 single crochets in total, like that. And then we are going to start 17 rows of single crochet in total. So I'm just going to turn the work, and I'm just going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way across, like that. So that's my second row, and then I would just complete my third row by turning the work again. Just make 1 single crochet to each stitch all the way across. And now you just want to repeat that until you have 17 rows in total. Okay, so once you have done your 17 rows, you then just kind of want to flip the work upside down, and we're going to be attaching the work to the other ear muff. So you just want to flip it so that the work is easy for you to crochet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert my hook into that first stitch of the row, and then just grab any stitch on the next ear muff and make your first single crochet, and then into the next stitch, insert your hook into the next pink stitch, and then insert your hook into the next fluffy stitch, single crochet. Just continue that all the way across so that you then have attached your headband section to the other ear muff. So you should have something like this. And then I'm going to be kind of folding the band section, so not the ear muffs but the actual band section, in half, and I'm going to be slip stitching the edges together. So it might seem a little bit complicated, but just basically ignore the ear muff part and fold the headband part in half like this. And then you just want to grab the first section on the front of the headband and then the section on the back, so the corresponding one. So just kind of pinch it together like this and fold it, and then you just want to make a slip stitch through those sections. And this is just going to kind of create a band going all the way across, and you just want to fold the band all the way across and just slip stitch across the entire row so that everything is like attached together. Okay, so once you've done all of your slip stitches, you then just want to chain one and fasten off. And then I'm going to create like a little tie section here so that I can position the ear muffs exactly how I want it. So just basically making a little ribbon. Okay, so I've just done a chain of 34, and then I'm just going to cut the yarn. Like that. And I'm just going to basically thread the yarn through the bottom parts of the ear muffs. And then you can just tie a little bow to make it nice and cute. If you did want to add like another ribbon just like you did for the scarf, then you can, but I'm just going to leave it like this because I think it looks quite nice to just hang it on the tree as this, so it will just go through the band. So yeah, that is now the scarf and ear muffs all complete, and now I'm going to show you how to make the boot. So I'm going to be starting off with the sole of the boot right here, and you're going to want to make 2 of these. One is for the actual sole, and then the second one is for this front part of the foot, if that makes sense. So you're going to want to make 2 of these. So I already made 1, so I'll show you how to make it. So you just want to start off with your slip knot and your brown yarn, and you want to make a chain of 8. And then for your first row you want to just single crochet into the second back bump, and then single crochet into each back bump all the way across. So you'll have 7 stitches in your round. And then I'm going to basically be doing 9 rows of single crochet in total. So you just want to turn the work and then again just do 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way across. Okay, so after you've done your 9 rows of single crochet, we're now going to do the curved part at the top of the sole, which is going to be a single crochet, 5 double crochets, and then a slip stitch right at the end. So I'm going to be starting off with my single crochet into the first stitch, and then we'll be doing 5 double crochets. So to do the double crochet, you want to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You should have 3 loops on the hook, and you want to yarn over and pull through the first 2, and then yarn over again and pull through the last 2, like that. So that's your double crochet, and you want to repeat that 4 more times. So again, into the next stitch, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through the first 2, yarn over and pull through the second 2. So now I'm just going to do that 3 more times. And then we just want to do a slip stitch into the final stitch, like that. Then you can just chain 1 and fasten off. And like I said, you want to make 2 of these, 1 for the sole of the shoe and then 1 for the kind of top part of the shoe. Okay, so we're now going to be making the platform part of the boot, so that's going to be this part right here. So you're going to want to take your brown yarn, and you can attach it at any point on the sole. So I'm just going to go into this first stitch right here, and I'm going to pull my slip knot through and chain 1, like that. So that chain 1 is going to count as a slip stitch, and we're going to be doing a slip stitch into each stitch all the way around. So this is going to be in each space along the sides of the sole, and also each stitch across the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to go into my next stitch across the top and do a slip stitch, and I'm repeating it for each stitch all the way across, just slip stitching. Okay, and then I'm going to go all the way across the bottom, just roughly making a slip stitch into each space. Okay, so once you have reached the other side of the sole, you then just want to slip stitch back into that first slip stitch, so that first chain 1. And then we're just going to chain 1 and fasten off. So here's where I have slip stitched and fastened off, and now I'm going to be doing a row in the back loop only, and I'm also going to be doing an extra chain 1 at each corner, and this is just going to help square off the corners for this back area. So I'm going to insert my hook roughly in the centre in the back loop of the back of the shoe, and I'm just going to pull my slip knot through there and then chain 1 to attach it. Now I'm going to single crochet until the corner, so I'm just going into the back loop and making a single crochet, and I'm going to continue that until I get roughly to the corner of the shoe, and it doesn't need to be exact. Okay, so I've roughly reached the corner, so now I'm just going to chain 1, and then I'm just going to continue as normal, going all the way down the side, making 1 single crochet into each back loop. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue working all the way around until I get to this bottom corner. So we're only squaring off the back corner sections and we're keeping the curved section curved. So now I'm just going to continue doing single crochets in the back loop all the way around until I reach the next back corner. So now I've reached the next corner, I'm just going to do my single crochet and then chain one, and then I'll do my last single crochet over here. And now I'm just going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made, and then I'm just going to chain one and fasten off. Okay, so what this has done is this has curved the bottom part of the boot upwards so that it's creating more of a platform sole. Okay, so we're now going to be doing the back heel section, so that's going to be this section that curves around the back of the heel, and this is going to be where our squared off section is. So you just want to take your yarn and make a slip knot, and then you want to just kind of find where you did those chain one. So here was my chain one over here. So you can start whatever chain one you want, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to be starting over here on the left. Wherever you find your chain one spot, you just want to count back 4 stitches from that point. So here's my chain one, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to insert my hook from that 4th stitch, and I'm going to pull my slip knot through and chain one to attach it. The chain one doesn't count as a stitch, and I'm just going to single crochet into the same stitch to start my next row. So as you can see, we're going to be starting from this section here, we're going to be working all the way around the back of the heel, and then we're going to stop 4 stitches from the second chain one over here. So after your first single crochet, you want to skip the next stitch and make 2 single crochets, so 1 into the next 2 stitches. So I'm going to skip this one, make a single crochet, and then I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch. Now I'm going to skip the chain and I'm going to make 4 single crochets. So I'm just going to go into my next stitch, that's 1 single crochet, into the next stitch, that's 2, into the next stitch, that's 3, and into the next, that's 4. Now I'm going to skip the next stitch and I'm going to do another 2 single crochets, so 1 into the next 2 stitches. So I'm going to skip that, go into my next stitch, that's 1, and then a single crochet into the next stitch, that's 2, and then I'm going to skip the next stitch and I'm going to make another 2 single crochets. So skip that stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and then I'm going to skip a stitch one more time and single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so this is what you should have, something like this. So you should have 12 stitches for the back heel section, and now we are just going to do in total 4 rows of single crochet. So that was our first row, and now I'm going to turn the work and I'm going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way across, and I'm not going to be skipping any stitches, so it's just a straight row of single crochets, 1 in each stitch. And the work again and do another row of single crochet, so that's now the 3rd row. And then final row, I'm going to turn the work one more time and I'm going to do another row of single crochet. Okay, so once you've done your 4 rows of single crochet, just chain 1 and fasten off. And now you just want to flip the boot inside out, so you've got kind of all these bumpy edges on the outside. And then you want to take the front sole of the shoe, like this, doesn't matter which way up, really, but I'm going to try and flip it sort of inside out like this, and you just want to kind of place it on top, and we're going to be slip stitching all of these seams together. So I'm going to just be lining up the corners, and I'm just going to slip stitch each stitch all the way around. Brown yarn and make a slip knot. I'm just going to line up the front sole part on top of the bottom of the boot, and I'm just going to insert my hook into this top corner right here, and I'm going to pull my slip knot through and chain one to attach it, and that's going to count as one slip stitch. And I'm just going to roughly go around to each space, so going into the next space of the back part of the boot and the next space on the front part of the boot, and make a slip stitch. Okay, again into the next sort of space on the back of the boot and the next space on the front, and slip stitch, and then same into the next space and the next space on the front and slip stitch. So you're just connecting the front to the back, and you want to continue that all the way down around the front of the shoe and back up, and you want to leave this back section open. Okay, so once you have finished your final slip stitch in that top corner, you then just want to chain one and fasten off. And then at this point, if you need to weave in any ends, just do that, and then you just want to flip your work back on the right side out. So you should have something like this, and then for the final round we are going to be doing like a fluffy yarn edge around the top, and also at the same time skipping a few stitches to really cinch in the ankle hole section. So you want to take your fluffy yarn and your larger hook, and you can attach this at any point. So I'm just going to go here on the side of the boot, but we're working on this top edge here around in a circle. So make your slip knot and then just pull your slip knot through like that, and then just chain one to attach it. Now the sequence that I'm going to be doing is basically one single crochet and then skip, one single crochet and then skip, and repeating that all the way around. So I'm just going to do a single crochet in that same stitch, and then I'm going to be skipping the next stitch and making a single crochet in the following stitch, and then skipping the next stitch and making a single crochet in the next stitch. So I'm just going to continue that sequence, and it doesn't matter too much if you get to the end of the round and you've got like an uneven amount of stitches left over. Just basically skip a stitch or do a single crochet, whatever feels natural, because at the end of the day it's fluffy yarn and you're not going to be able to tell the difference. So you don't need to have like an even number of stitches, or you know, a multiple of 3 or whatever. It's completely fine. So I'm just going to continue that now all the way around. Okay, so now I've got to my last one, so I'm just going to skip that last stitch and slip stitch back into that first single crochet, slip stitch, and then just chain one and fasten off. Okay, so if you'd like, you can stuff the boot to give it a little bit more shape, and then you want to attach them together. So just grab any of your yarn colours. I'm just going to be using cream, and I'm just going to kind of hold the boots together like this, insert my hook through both sides, and then just pull your slip knot through, and then again just make the chain of however long you want. And then just slip stitch back into that exact same spot to secure it. Make a slip stitch like that, and then just chain 1, fasten off, and just tuck the end in. Then you have your boots decoration all complete. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. I hope you all have an amazing Christmas, and please tag me on Instagram if you do make these lovely decorations, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.